For the EFDD and now Mr. Nuttall.
Thank you. I would like to start by offering my condolences on behalf of my group to the families and friends of those who were tragically slain in Paris. It really brought home to us the danger that we face on our streets today. If we are to deal with the greatest threat that we and our children face in this century, that of Islamic fundamentalism, we must resolve the situation in Syria. We must first realise who our enemy is and who our enemy is not. We must not see foreign policy through the eyes of the student common room. We must realise that geopolitics is not a case of simply black and white. There are very often grey areas, and we must be grown up enough to say that sometimes my enemy's enemy is my friend, just as we did in World War II with Joseph Stalin. We need to put together a grand coalition of nations, which includes not just the Western powers, but also Russia, China, India and Muslim nations as well. We must come together to cut out the cancer of radical Islamism, which brought carnage onto the streets of Paris, and I believe will no doubt attempt to repeat the same evil on the streets of another European city sometime soon. We need to admit also that Bashar al-Assad is not the threat to global peace in comparison to the Islamism of Islamic State. But we must also look at ourselves and ask, have our policies aided the terrorists? And sadly, the answer is yes. This place is in denial. You are clinging to Schengen and freedom of movement of people, just as Neville Chamberlain clung to appeasing Hitler when it was obvious to all that this man could not be dealt with. And the obsession with these policies and the failure to admit that you have been wrong is placing the lives of our citizens in danger. Just as I warned in this chamber 6 weeks ago to howls of derision that freedom of movement of people in Europe would in the end lead to freedom of movement of jihad, I'm afraid, unfortunately, I was proven correct. We must also take a hard look in the mirror and ask whether our tolerance is leading to intolerance. And again, the answer must be yes. Last week, I took a walk around the Brussels suburb of Molenbeek. I was saddened by what I saw, but unfortunately, I was not surprised. It is a snapshot of everything that has gone wrong with the failed policies of political correctness and aggressive multiculturalism. It is a ghetto which is many homegrown jihadists live, egged on by Saudi-sponsored Wahhabism. So if we are to take steps to solve the crisis that we face, we must first cut out its source, which is the problems in Syria, through a global coalition. But at the same time, we must prevent it at home by reinstating border controls and clamping down on Saudi-sponsored Wahhabism, which is a growing, clear and present danger within many of our communities. Thank you.
Herr Nuttall, es gibt eine Frage der Abgeordneten FOTYGA an Sie.
There's a question from Mr. FOTYGA to you.
Bitte sehr.
Thank you, President. Colleague, do you agree with me that in the past, appeasing Stalin brought enormous atrocities to other regions, like my region, Central and Eastern Europe, and currently appeasing Putin brings atrocities to the country like Ukraine and other countries of Central and Eastern Europe as well?
If we didn't do a deal with Stalin, and I'm speaking as a historian here, then actually we would now probably be living in a Nazi-dominated Europe. So we had to do it. We did not really have a choice. But equally at the same time, you talk about appeasing Putin. Putin is on our side. The real threat in the world today is Islamic fundamentalism, and if we have to do a deal with the devil, we must do so to ensure that we cut out this cancer in our society.